Hello everyone, welcome to the course on data structures and algorithms. This is the very first video in this series and we are going to learn some basic, some primitive informations and concepts of data structures and algorithms. So before we move to those concepts and terminology, the very first question that we would like to address is, why do I need to learn data structures and algorithms? So there are some reasons, there are some questions which are to be answered before going into the fundamentals of data structures and algorithms. So the first fact is, we are surrounded by information which is stored in form of data. So everything that you store, for example, you have your Aadhaar card number, or you have your student ID, or you have your PAN card number, or nowadays there are many statistics coming out with reference to COVID-19. So everything, this all are in form of data. Now the second part is, how do we store data? So this is very important. Storing is very important, but along with storing, couple of other facts are also important, which is fetching or retrieving and processing. So supposing this is your database, this is your database wherein all your data is stored. So storing is all about putting your data into this database. So this is storing, all right. And retrieving or fetching is about taking the data out. So this is about retrieving or fetching the data. Now once the data is fetched, then what do? We process the data. We do some computation on the data, and once the data is processed, again we store back onto this database. So all these three terminology: storing, then fetching or retrieving, and then processing. So these everything, all these processes must be efficient. So we'll see what exactly this word efficient means. Now, so for that, for being every process efficient, we need to have the data stored, or data has to be properly structured. So what do you mean by properly structured? So we'll see in the next slide what do we mean by properly structured. Now data can be stored or data can be structured in many different ways. First is list, stack, tree, graph. So these are all the concepts that we are going to learn throughout of our course on data structure. So, and we will be implementing all our algorithms in different programming language. We can use it C programming, C++, Java. There are many different ways to implement these algorithms. In this course, we will be implementing using C programming language. And one very important reason to learn data structure is, the competitive examinations that you appear for, the GATE examination and sometimes job interviews. So for computer science students, data structures and algorithm is one of those very core subject of their curriculum. So data structure is important from that perspective too. And in future, in forthcoming semesters, in higher semester, students are going to learn subjects like big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, wherein the concept of data structures will be very, very important. And here one thing you need to understand is, the data structure and algorithm, these two words are different. So how do we store data? That is data structure. And how do we process data? That is about algorithm. If I give you a very simple example, like we have some data like 49, 83, 79, minus 6, something like this is my unstructured data. So if I want to structure them, let's say I want to sort them, all right? So it is going to be stored like minus 6, 49. If I store them in ascending order, so it is going to be stored in like this. And if I put them in a list, it would look something like this. All right. So this could be a list. So list is nothing but your data structure. All right. And this sorting, this is a process. There are many different ways. There are many different algorithms. So bubble sort is there, selection sort is there, quick sort, merge sort. We'll see all these algorithms. All right. So these are nothing but my algorithms. So how do you process the data? So that will be algorithm. And how do you store the data? That will be your data structure. So let us move forward. This is your complete course. This is something what we are going to see throughout in our video series. We'll be starting from the introductory part, then we'll move to linear data structure and non-linear data structure. Then the very interesting topic we are going to cover is sorting and searching. Lately we'll be covering hashing, and at the end of the course we'll be covering file structure. So now let us start from introduction. So in introduction we are going to cover these many concepts. We'll be having elementary ideas on data organization, what are those different types of operations, then what are those database management concepts, types of data structure. So these are all the various concepts that we are going to learn in our introductory part. So let us first start answering the question, what is data structure? It's a very simple question. So it's about structuring the data, it's about organizing the data. So why do I need to organize data? So for that, because I wish to efficiently manage the data. So question is, what do you mean by efficiently managing the data? That means we want everything to be very faster. We want my data storing, we want my data retrieving, we want my data updation or processing very faster. So faster in what sense? Faster means execution time. Execution time, that is in form of let's say you can measure the execution time in second or millisecond or microsecond or nanosecond. So these are different units of measuring the execution time. So if algorithm 1 is taking, for example, if algorithm 1 is taking, let's say 10 milliseconds to execute, and if algorithm 2 is taking, let's say 7.5 millisecond to execute, so this algorithm 2 is faster, all right, because it is giving output, it is giving the outcome in less time. So that is the meaning of this faster way. So we want everything to be faster, all right. So let us move forward. So let us try to define data structure. So we have taken a definition from Wikipedia. So in computer science, data structure is about organization, it's about management, and it's about storing. So these are the three different things that we are going to do. We are going to organize data, we are going to manage the data, and we are going to store the data. But for what purpose? For accessing and modifying efficiently. Right, so this is very important. This word we have been saying, efficiently. So we'll see efficiently is not about only time, or is not about how fast it is. So it is also important that space. So what sort of memory that we are going to utilize. All right, so this is also important. So the better algorithm, the efficient algorithm would be taking less time and it would be taking less space. So faster, and it should be taking less space means the memory, other memory can be utilized by other programs. So this is our meaning of efficient. So this is another example. So another definition, data structure is about collection of data and relationship among them. How do you operate, how do you process the data? Right. So, and it makes algorithm, as we said, algorithm is a different word than data structure. So it is nothing but the code, the process, the mechanism, the approach that we are going to write, right? And it should be easy to understand, it should be easy to manage. So what are those two basic concerns when you are writing any algorithm? So very first concept is efficiency. Efficiency, as we have seen, that efficiency will be measuring in terms of time and space. So time is about how fast the algorithm is. So we'll be measuring in terms of millisecond or microsecond or nanosecond. All right, but space is about what amount of memory that our algorithm consumes. So it is in form of bytes or kilobytes or the megabyte or gigabyte or terabyte. So these are the two different factors that we are going to learn to measure the efficiency of any algorithm in terms of time and in terms of space. But another concern is scalability. So scalability is very important. If your algorithm is very nice, it is you have tested your algorithm for, let's say 1000 data, n equal to 1000. So if you have tested your algorithm with, let's say 1000 data, then it should also work for 100,000 data too. So it should be scalable. It should be scalable means if your algorithm works on small amount of data, it should work on huge amount of data too. It should work on large amount of data too. So these are two primary concerns of any algorithm: efficiency and scalability. Efficiency will be measuring in form of time and space. Scalability will be measuring in form of the amount of data that we process at a time. Now let us move forward. So let us take the second concept, abstract data type. All right. So what is abstract data type? So basically it's a mathematical model for data types. So in this one, like first there is a concept like primitive data type. So what is primitive data type? Means something which is already available in any programming. Like if I have, like you must have come across this word like integer, float, character. So these are the primitive data types which are already available in, let's say, C programming. Okay, but abstract data type is something which is not primitive. So like list, queue, stack, map. So these are all abstract data type. Means you do not have list L equal to something. You cannot write something like this in C programming. Of course you have to create this list using, let's say, array or whatever, but using primitive data type will be creating, but primitively these are not available in the. So these are abstract data type, or sometimes you can call them user data type. So we will be creating trees and graphs and linked list, everything, right? So next comes the computational complexity. Now this is a very important concept, as we have seen that how to measure. For example, I have created an algorithm, let's say algorithm 1 for sorting, and there is another algorithm. Which has been created by my friend, which is also on sorting. So which one is good? Out of these two, which one is good? So for that, we will be using this word computational complexity to check which algorithm is good. So for that, if we to understand the performance, so this is a good word for measuring this one. So to understand the performance of data structure and algorithm, we are using this computational complexity, and there are two factors as we have discussed. How much time does it take and how much space does it take? For example, if algorithm number 1, okay, some fixed amount of data, the data is already given, supposing the data is already given. So for this data, algorithm 1 is taking, let's say, T1 time, and let's say S1 memory, and algorithm 2 is, let's say, it is taking T2 time and S2 memory. But if T1 and S1 are less than T2 and S2, that means T1 is smaller than T2 and S1 is smaller than. For example, let's say this is taking 5 millisecond and this is taking 7 millisecond. So algorithm 1 is getting executed in just 5 millisecond. Alright, so it is faster, and it is taking, let's say, 10 KB of data, and this is taking, let's say, 20 KB of memory. Not data, it's memory. Alright, so it is taking less memory and less time. So you can say the performance of algorithm 1 is better on these two criterion, the time and the memory, the time taken by the algorithm and the memory taken by the algorithm. So these are two different factors that we will be using. Then there are some very important terminology that we need to understand. So an algorithm would not take the same amount of time every day. Alright, so it depends on the data. It depends on data set. Okay, so let's say for data set number 1, the algorithm is taking let's say 50 millisecond. Alright, for another data set number 2, which is much more greater than this, it is taking 1000 millisecond or 100 millisecond. For another data set number 3, it is taking, let's say 10,000 milliseconds. So it depends on the data set that you are having, the number of data. Alright, so in general, if I take n as the number of input, the size of input, so it depends on n. So we are having two words, upper bound and lower bound. The maximum time or the worst time, and the other is minimum time or the base time. So these are the two terminology that we are going to use for measuring performance. So for that, the worst time will be measured using a notation called big O notation. So we'll be seeing this terminology. So that is the maximum time taken by any algorithm. So that's a worst time. All right, and base case is minimum. All right, so minimum time taken by any algorithm, that would be measured in omega notation. And there is another concept of average or normal case scenario. So for that, it's a theta notation. So these are the three different terminology that we are going to use. Big O, that is the worst case scenario or the maximum time taken by the algorithm. Omega is the best case scenario, that is the minimum time taken by the algorithm. And let's say theta, that is average. Example, let's say for any data set, any algorithm, all right, so it is taking 50 millisecond as the maximum time. All right, 5 millisecond is the minimum time, and in normal case, in average, let's say 15 millisecond. All right, so 50 millisecond, that's a worst case scenario, that's a big O. Then 5 millisecond is the base case scenario, that is omega. And 15 millisecond, that's the average of, let's say 5 run or 10 run or 15 run. So that is the theta notation. So we'll see them in detail in our forthcoming videos. So big O, omega and theta notation. So with this basic terminology, I conclude this video by thanking you all. In our next video, we'll be looking at types of different data structures. So thank you all for watching this video.